Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's broadcast of Launchpad number 2, the qualifier to qualify for Liftoff, which will get you into the North American Strikers League for season number 2. My name is Gordo. I'm joined on the desk today by Yume. Yume, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, and I'm pretty excited about Launchpad for this Launchpad too. I think a lot of the teams seem like they would have very close matchups so it's very interesting this week. A lot of teams have very huge amounts of players, so I'm interested to see in these roster shuffles that's going on. And with our current first match, especially, we've Chikara versus LP Thieves. And on Chikara's side, here are the players that are possible: Zanseki, Vladilina, Japanese Box, Kai Fangirl, Murioku, and Swift Duelist. So I'm wondering how they're going to play this out.
Yeah, there's quite a few folks on here, so we're gonna have to wait and see exactly who is going to be starting. Although we are specking, it's gonna be on Night Market, and we are specking from Chikara's POV. So it looks like it's gonna be Swift Duelist, Japanese Box, and Vladilina here.
Yeah, I believe that this is one of the main rosters. I think last week was Japanese Box, Vladilina, and Murioku for the most part. So it seems like this week Swift Duelist is taking that spot. And right at the start, they're basically taking what is essentially a double brawler comp. Rasmus can play both as a brawler and a midfielder, especially since a lot of top players like Bells likes to play Rasmus as a switch-in for Juliet.
Yeah, for sure. So I have to see exactly how they're going to want to spec out these compositions. The Juliet going to be coming through for both sides. The Rasmus going to be offset with a Drakkar, one on each team, and then Dubugoli's coming through from both sides. So keeping the comps pretty similar. It's going to be Erasmus v Drakkar as the only change ending up coming on through. It looks like it's going to be Winter Freezer, Death Gun, and Find Mucked for the side of the LP Thieves.
Yeah, I can't wait till one of us messes up Find Muck's name.
Yeah, that's a big risk. We'll do our best to get through it, and we'll face the consequences of the Twitch ban if they do end up coming through. But immediately going to be taking things off with one goal barrier taken out by each side. Japanese Box on the bottom side showed us some really impressive stuff on this Rasmus pick in particular last week, where they were able to get some big upset wins, but weren't quite able to take Chikara all the way to the qualification. So they're going to be looking to change those fortunes today and make sure that they are going to be a part of Liftoff.
Yeah, and something that's going to be interesting here on Night Market that we're seeing so far is that a lot of the times right now, LP Thieves are playing on the same side in order to try and pressure up here, to try and get free passes to Death Gun over and over again, as long as Find Mucks can beat out Japanese Box in the 1v1s, which Drakkar does have a little bit of an easier time doing against Rasmus.
Definitely. So I have to be a lot of onus put on the Find Mucks character and onto their play coming in here. So far, they've been doing pretty well up against Japanese Box. They're going to be staggered already, but they will successfully open up the goal off that core flip, going in with the death touch. Vladilina trying to play defense. Double core flips, though. Passed back and forth for the LP Thieves is going to end up with the first score going over their way.
Yeah, and something I just realized here is that everyone took fired up this game, and I believe it was slightly buffed this patch. So we're going to see a lot of huge movement speeds in this game, and hopefully a lot of core flip plays, and I hope to see core flip pass plays where they just core flip, pass, core flip, and just rock with it.
Yeah, and if they're able to make that happen, that's going to end up making a big difference. So far, yeah, there's all of that energy coming on out because of the Fire Up starting awakening that everybody has taken here, so they're all going to be assisting each other as they end up using those, and yeah, going to be a lot of core flipping to be had here as all 6 players have taken that one. Don't know what the other awakening was, but we know nobody seemed to think it was very appealing.
Yeah, and so far, it seems the difference maker so far for LP Thieves is Death Gun. He's so far found 2 kills, both on Swift Duelist and Japanese Box. Now, it does help that Find Muck is putting a lot of pressure on the same side as him, so they can find a lot more kills on Japanese Box, hopefully. Wow. Since they seem to be messing around with him quite a bit. And that was a really good save on the core flip, and Find Muck does find another core flip just to score on Vladilina, because he rolled down instead.
Yeah, can't quite get enough in there. It was a huge stuff to start things off for Vladilina, but not going to be able to stay up against those further core flips coming in through from the LP Thieves. So they're going to take a 2-1 lead in this first set. Now immediately looking to get off aggressive. The soup comes out of the bottom side from Winter Freezer, but they will be able to sneak it past. Now using that death touch does get blocked by Death Gun, so not going to find its way onto the core. But Swift Duelist going to be keeping control and going to be able to open up one of those goal barriers for it as Vladilina comes out towards midfield, but around the world it comes from Winter Freezer. Will end up finding one of those goal barriers at the end of the day, evening things up at 1-1 as Swift Duelist finds themselves the KO off the top side, but it's going to open up their goal in that same breath as they're just trying to wait out for this respawn. Open goals on both sides now. Japanese Box with a chance to make a play, moving up on the top side, looking to pass down to Swift Duelist. Winter Freezer, though, keeps it cleared out, gets it over to find Mucked. Just get hooked well, invisible, and Death Gun now back off the respawn, going to be looking to strike back for the LP Thieves and close out this very first set. Japanese Box keeping it pushed up on the top right corner, looking in for what they could potentially find. Vladilina getting impatient, though, stepping up towards midfield, has the core flip available when they do end up needing it, and one more pendulum swing will get it for Japanese Box.
Yeah, that was a really good point. And something I just want to note up here is that Japanese Box and Vladilina do both have core flip, which means since Swift Duelist is about 60% of the way there, I'm pretty sure that that's a third core flip right there. So they could turn this momentum around until LP Thieves gets their triple core flip. But Japanese Box unfortunately does miss his flip, and Vladilina is forced to use it.
Yep, and we'll see what the spillover effects of that are as everybody else is moving faster. As if they get multiple core flips, I think that stacks the movement speed multiple times. Not entirely sure on that, but it's just going to make these guys go faster and faster. Swift Duelist does manage to get on over and open up that core. Death Gun looking to respond, but manages to drop out of the Flying Phoenix and get themselves that little bit of extra space, buying that little bit of extra time, and their chances in this set are looking up as they've already opened up the goal, passed back up by Swift. Japanese Box not quite in a position to receive, and the Soup will keep delaying things just a little bit longer. They're going to need to find either get their core flips up, or they're going to need to find a way to sneak it past these guys, as Swift and Japanese Box have been keeping it in Winter Freezer's face for pretty much this entire round.
Yeah, they've been doing such a great job of just keeping it forward. I do want to see a little bit more passing because I felt like they actually could have scored if they just hard vertical passed. But again, Japanese Box finds the exact same angle, but this time with core flip to get the point.
Much, much better there that time as they do get themselves in to that bottom corner, and they get themselves their first goal, or second goal of the set, rather, by the way. And now we're going to be at 2-2, going the full distance already. Set one, game one, a good sign of things to come as we're looking for a nice competitive series here for what is going to be the first qual of the day coming through to liftoff. Death Gun, though, stepping up, though, getting a little frustrated having lost those last two sets. Pass down to find Mucked. Nearly gets it in there. Vladilina dropping very low on HP. Very likely going to get taken out here. There's going to be Death Gun finding the KO, and with the goalie out of the core, or goalie out of the arc, rather, they're going to move back on up towards Death Gun, looking in for the Flying Phoenix. Can't quite find it for the goal. Core flip comes through, and that's going to be it off the bottom corner. Set one will come to the LP Thieves.
Yeah, that was a pretty unfortunate situation because as soon as Vladilina hit half health after taking the orb, LP Thieves just decided to put huge amounts of pressure on them. And something that I have realized with all these fire-ups is that both these Dubus, I think Dubu's a really good character at dealing with core flips, especially with his creations. Now, the problem is a lot of Dubus have been starting to run forward with these Momentum Boots and trying to use the creations aggressively. So they have to find this juggle of using their creations aggressively against, to keep the core forward and defensively against these core flips. So I'm interested to see how this match goes on.
Yeah, for sure. Stepping on out after the back of having made their selections. Going to see just how effective stuff like that hot shot's going to be to keeping those goal arcs cleared out of any potential interference. Here comes Swift Duelist immediately jumping out from the center, going to be able to find that first goal barrier, pulled back up by Japanese Box, who wants to find themselves that open goal and keep the momentum going that they had earlier on. They did score 2 in a row there, but ended up giving up the set. Now going to be looking to see if they can take a set number 2 for themselves. Moving back forward up on the top side, Japanese Box with the Whiplash, using that movement speed to try to catch up to it, but it is going to end up slipping past them. As you said, there's not been a huge amount of passing so far in this first match, and kind of just resulting in the core flying all over the place with everybody chasing it.
Yeah, I will note that Night Market is a pretty hard map to pass on if you're not used to using the center or playing with very vertical passes. And Vladilina just runs up and makes a solo play with that core flip.
Yeah, it just gets tired of waiting. You know, sometimes the goalie, you got to get out there, got to take matters into your own hands. Step forward, somersault to stop the ball, and then going to be able to flip it right into the goal up against Winter Freezer. Great play there by Vladilina, who's had some pretty good lockdown defense for a while, been blocking a lot of these shots. from Feinmucked and Death Gun. And as I say that, there's going to be one core flip taken down, and there's going to be a bunch of damage coming on through there. Now another flip comes through. There's going to be the open goal, and just one more nice little shot there from Death Gun. Going to end up taking it and tying us up at 1-1 in set number 2.
Yeah, it just barely peeled off of Vladilena because Vladilena was a little bit too low, and I don't think they have momentum boots because of the Jakar shotgun. And that's something that Jakar is going to be very good at for this round especially. Jakar and Rasmus, they're going to have to deal a lot of AoE damage to both the goalies to stop the momentum boots to be able to defend. And Death Gun taking away Swift Duelist's only prize fighter stack, so now Swift Duelist is quite behind.
Yeah, definitely going to be behind both in XP and in that Awakening department, and that's really where you're going to be looking to catch up. Going to be a 1-1 in terms of those goal barriers. A nice shot up off the core flip, going to open things up, and now Japanese Box and Swift Duelist with a chance to make a play happen, but going to get forced back on out. Japanese Box very low on that stasis, or on that stagger rather, and is going to get knocked aside. If that Molten Bolt had landed, might have very well been a KO, and Death Gun's looking to make it one anyway. Pushing up towards the top side, Feinmuck taking a fair bit of damage in return, but Death Gun takes Swift Duelist right off the map. Japanese Box with a little angle to play for, but can't quite find it, or can they? Comes back over to Winter Freezer, who will clear it back up to Death Gun, and now the numbers advantage going to give Feinmuck and Death Gun a chance to play up for this barrier, but they can't even find it. As I say that, they do manage to sneak it past Vladilena, but it is going to be at the cost of that Drakar's life, and now Swift Duelist looking to finish the job. Back up to Japanese Box, misses the strike, but gets the second one. Now taking it forward up against Winter Freezer. Good defense, but will eventually find its way through.
Yeah, and right there, Japanese Box has used a lot of abilities to essentially play ping pong with Winter Freezer, but because he has his spacebar, he was able to strike secondary into strike again, and Winter Freezer can outplay all those abilities at the same time with just strike.
Good little use of the strike there to be able to get things past, as they're both going to use their core flips, and neither one of them are going to end up finding the core there. But it all works out at the end of the day. They get to share the movement speed for their troubles, they get to open up the goal, and they get themselves another score and a set win off the back